Okay, so here I am with Mcfarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batgirl. I only have one of these Mcfarlane figures so far, and that's that Batman up there, the blue and gray one. That's the only one I bought, and I hadn't really gotten too into these just because it's a whole nother scale. Do I want to get into collecting a whole nother scale of DC figures? I don't know. But when I saw these three Jokers figures, it's from a three Jokers subset, I thought they were so cool, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll have to at least get these. So the other figures in this little subset so far is Batman and the Red Hood and two of the three Jokers, the ones that actually die in the story. Not the one that lives. Oh, spoiler warning, two of the three Jokers die. It was kind of pointless that there were three Jokers. It was kind of a book that got some mixed reception for a lot of reasons that I think were, I can understand why it got a mixed reception. It was kind of overhyped, I think, a little bit, but especially because, like, the three Jokers thing went nowhere. It was just kind of a gimmick for the story. And at the end of it, like, two of them are dead, and only one of them was, like, the real Joker anyway, or was he? Or I think he was, but it was just kind of, why? You know? There were other things about the story that were really cool, though, and I kind of feel like those probably should have been more hyped up than this whole thing of there being three Jokers, which was just kind of, like I said, went nowhere. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's go ahead and open her up. There's not, like, really a bio or anything on here, and it's just kind of a picture of the figure on the back. So, it says Batgirl, Batman, the three Jokers on the side. A little bit of window over here. Packaging isn't that interesting, but it is, I think, more interesting and more distinct than a lot of DC Comics action figure packaging is these days. Definitely the stuff like poor Mego is forced to put their figures out in. So inside here, you got an insert with some comic book artwork all done in blue. It's various, looks like comic book covers. One of which was that famous Batman cover drawn by Todd McFarlane. You can kind of see that one snuck in there a little bit. The one where he's holding, I guess it's Vicky Vale or something. It doesn't matter because that character's not even in that comic. I guess it's just some kind of stock cover they had. And they're like, we'll just put it on this issue, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the inside of it. You can see I'm taking the whole insert out because there's a stand that's stuck in here. I want to get that stand out. And they did not really... It's on a little plastic bubble, little flat plastic bubble, but it's not really, like, something that was very easy to pull off, like, while it was inside the box. It would have been nice if they'd put maybe a little tab on it or something so you could pull it open and not have to pull this whole thing out of the box, but I guess I need to get this trading card out anyway. This does not seem to me like the best way to package a trading card, since, like, there's a good chance it could get bent up if you don't pull this bubble off just right. Probably it'd be better to put it in, like, a little baggie and just kind of tape the baggie on there. There's the trading card, and the trading card is a picture of the action figure. You'd think it'd be a picture of the, the character as she appeared in the comic. So I guess there's a bio on the trading card. We can read that. It says, Batgirl, Batman, the three Jokers, data file, real name Barbara Gordon. By day, Barbara Gordon, this type is really small, by the way. By day, Barbara Gordon is the bookish daughter of the Gotham City Police Commissioner, Jim Gordon. By night, Batgirl dons a cape and cowl. Barbara dons a cape and cowl as Batgirl, committed to justice like her father, while her utility belt, TM, is... utility belt's trademarked, how about that? Is equipped with batarangs, TM, and other crime-fighting gadgets. a lot of this stuff has TM next to it. Barbara Gordon has TM. Jim Gordon has TM. That's distracting. So, equipped with batarangs and other crime-fighting gadgets, her greatest tools are her brilliant mind and her unwavering determination. Batgirl is an expert martial artist and gymnast trained in part by Batman, who's extremely athletic and agile. Sorry, light's not so great for this. Who's extremely athletic and agile. Her photographic memory, I forget how to pronounce the, it basically means photographic memory. Heightened intelligence and her advanced knowledge of computers make her a natural leader and skilled crime fighter. But look how tiny that print is. That's why, like, my eyes ain't what they used to be. I'm having to squint at this shit. And it's not like there's not room. They could have used a larger font or something. Look at that. Look at all that empty space there. Like, there's, like, literally a quarter of an inch of nothing underneath where it says her real name and the rest of the bio. So, like, I think they probably could have done a better job with that. Anyway, I'm going to hold on to the trading card. Because it's kind of neat that it has a trading card. Like I said, I probably would have done artwork from the comic book rather than just a picture of the action figure, because I've got the action figure. Like, you got some Jason Fabok artwork from that book. That was probably the best thing about that book. Like, use that artwork. Alright, so let's see. Her accessories is she has a, like, in addition to the figure stand that I already just showed you, she got a batarang, yellow batarang, and she got a grappling hook launcher, which is standard Bat family equipment these days. So let's go ahead and peel that off. A little piece of tape holding that in. And it's got, like, what I think is a nice sort of cartoony look to it. It's simplified, but you can tell how it functions, so that's good. I don't remember, because it's been a long time since I read that comic. I don't remember if that's actually how Jason Fabok draws a Batman-style grappling hook launcher, but nevertheless, it's a nice accessory. And she's got the dreaded rubber tabs, plastic tabs holding her in here. These tiny, delicate little wrists held in there with the plastic tabs. So it ain't like a He-Man figure where I've got to the point where these days I'll just kind of yank them open. I would be afraid of damaging her wrists. She's already had her spine damaged. I mean, in the story, not in the figure. Don't worry about that. And there's one more at the waist. And I think that's all these damnable things. And you can see that she's got, like, a plastic cape, and it's embedded in the packaging. So I'm going to be really careful as I try to take that out, because I don't want to get that messed up. She was packaged in here, like, really awkward, too. Like, look how her legs are kind of spread in that weird sort of way. This is more like the sort of pose I would expect is, like, you know, the Joker shot her and she fell through a glass coffee table. more than a superhero Batgirl pose. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of rip through this tray. I think that might be the best way to do this. And her head came off. I don't think her head was actually attached. I think that, like, it was just kind of, man, she's embedded in that. Is there more plastic tabs I'm missing? Yep. Yeah, there's something. I could have sworn I already cut that one. Oh, there's two of them? Really? Damn it. Okay, so now we have our headless Batgirl figure out of the package. And yeah, I don't think the ball joint was actually even in there. I think it might have popped out while it was in the package. I've had that happen to me before. If you watched the unboxing of the Peggy Carter Captain America 2-pack that I had, like that one, the Peggy Carter head was loose in the package. So let's see if we can get this popped back on there. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it, like, if I use a hairdryer or something, but hopefully I won't need it. I can just pop it back on there. And there we go. Now our head's back on. So, I do kind of feel like, and I don't know if this is because it's based off of Jason Fabok's artwork, or if it's just, like, how the figure turned out. I do think that the proportions are kind of wonky, and that maybe her head's a little small in proportion to her body. But, you know, it might just be because that's how she's drawn in the comic book. But if it is, you know, it looks a lot more natural in the comic book than it does on the figure, I think. So, it's not bad, but it's something that I notice. Okay, let's see if we can get her into a more sort of neutral pose. Hopefully we don't have any stuck joints on here. And she should move just fine. She's got really good articulation. Her head came off again. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so I think I might wind up having to put some heat on this to, I think her neck's a little short also. So I think they could have done a better job with that. It might be one of those things where it's like, you know, her neck is probably actually the right length, but it just looks shorter because the cape is thick. So it might have been better to actually give her a little bit of a longer neck than she really should have. The head sculpt's really good. Like, when I saw pictures of it online, I didn't think it matched up with Jason Fabok's artwork very well. But having it actually in hand, I think that it actually does look a lot like how Fabok drew Barbara Gordon in the comic. Let me see if I can... Is that focusing well enough? Yeah. And, like, also when I was looking at the pictures, I thought she was going to be wearing basically this all-black Batgirl outfit, just black and yellow. But when I have it in hand, I can see that it's actually, like, the cape and cowl are black, but the bodysuit of it is actually a very dark, kind of charcoal gray. I think I probably would have preferred that to be black, because I like how she's drawn in the first appearance, where, like, it's a matte black bodysuit. If you look at that first cover, there's, like, hardly any highlights on the suit at all. It just is this matte black kind of suit. And, with the blue suit and the black suit and the blue cape and cowl, I kind of feel like it's kind of opposite of Batman's costume, which, you know, even if it's a blue and gray Batman, generally speaking, you'd have, like, the cape and cowl is a darker color than the bodysuit. But with her, she would have that blue bodysuit, or the blue cape and cowl, and a black bodysuit. So her bodysuit is a darker color than the cape and the cowl. So I like that it's kind of reversed from how Batman's coloring works. I really like the treads on these boots. That's really cool. That's for the most part, when Fabok drew her in the comic book, like, you can see that this is a very classic sort of Batgirl costume. But there's, like, a few little details added, like some of those extraneous seams here and there. You can see on the thighs there's some seams that, you know, probably don't need to be there. Like, you don't really need that many seams in a pair of tights. Like generally she'd have one, like, down the middle. like at the they call it an inseam for a reason. But she's got a seam on the outside, and a seam on the front, and a seam on the back. It's just seams everywhere. But you know, it's a lot more subtle in his artwork, and it's fairly subtle in this figure. You might not even notice it till I pointed it out to you. But yeah, it's pretty much mostly just like a classic style Batgirl outfit with a few little bells and whistles added to it as far as, like, extra details and things like that. But those treads, man, that's really cool. I like that. That adds, like, an element of realism to it. Especially because, like, traditionally you'd have Batgirl wearing, like, high heels with the classic style Batgirl outfit. And, yeah, that's probably not the most practical crime fighting style of footwear but they seem to wear the high heels a lot, the superhero women. And you see, I was able to get that kind of, I forget there's a technical term for it, but that sort of posing like ancient Greek statues get, where it seems like the shoulders are at a different angle from the hips, because there's some good articulation here in the middle, because you've got like this sort of like ball and socket kind of articulation, uh, like right underneath the rib cage, and then also here at the hips. So that's really impressive, and you're going to be able to get some really good posing out of Batgirl because of that. Oh man, I love that. That's freaking awesome. She looks great. I kind of want to get another one of these and repaint her so that she's in that sort of first appearance type of look, like I'm talking about. Like give her the blue cape and cowl, and repaint the bodysuit to be like a true matte black. But this is still a really good color scheme, like taking it on its own. The cape is really cool. It's got a lot of sculpted detail to it. You can see like a lot of like fabric wrinkles, and it's got a real sort of flow to it. And I love that. And her hair as well. It looks very dynamic. It gives it a sense of motion, even though it's standing still and completely static. Now, her hair does kind of hinder the neck articulation a little bit. Like you can still get some good side to side movement. You can see they did sculpt the hair in such a way where you can move it around a little bit, but still you can only get her to look up so far. Like you can tilt the head back probably about that far, but the hair is gonna kind of push the head back into place. And like I said, her head popped off in the package. I might have even done it in such a way where like her head wasn't even attached in the package, and you just got to do it yourself. But I do kind of feel like it's probably in there good now. But like when I was moving around a little bit earlier, you saw the head popped off again. So I do kind of feel like it might be best if you apply some heat with like a blow dryer or something, and soften that back up, and let it get back to its natural state. And then once you've done that, once it's cooled down, try to pop that head back in there. That might be the best way to do that. So the wrist articulation is really cool, because it seems like it's on those like that it's on like a separate ball joint. This might be standard Mcfarlane procedure at this point. I don't know, because I don't have any of the other figures. But you can see that it's on a ball joint that's separate in between the hand and the wrist. So like this hand can turn like completely on its own, and you can pose that in any which way. So you know how like I'm talking about with G.I. Joe figures, how I'd probably rather they had this vertical articulation instead of the horizontal articulation? Well, Batgirl here can do both. So you can pose her wrist turned in like this and turned out like that, or then you can pose her wrist so it's up like this or down like this, or anything in between. So that's really cool. So if anybody from Hasbro is watching, this would be a good joint to steal. Like copy this and put it on your G.I. Joe figures, because like Marvel Legends figures, yeah, sure. Star Wars Black figures, yeah, that'd be nice too. But G.I. Joe figures especially, because they have to hold rifles. So steal that from Mcfarlane. That's a good joint. So, like I said, she's a very, very statuesque woman. You can see that she has this really nice athletic build. You know, I almost, like I said, I almost kind of feel like the head's a little undersized, because it's definitely that superheroic proportion. But I kind of feel like that works better in the comic book than it works on the figure. But you know, it's not a bad thing. It's fine. But it does make her look very Amazonian. And I'm used to Batgirl being like, you know, kind of more average as far as superheroes go. And yeah, I did wear this Batgirl t-shirt just for the occasion, because she's one of my favorite characters. So so yeah, she'll look good on the shelf. I'm probably gonna try to fit her up there next to that Batman. But that shelf is starting to get kind of crowded, you know, and that's where I try to keep stuff that I like to have on camera while I do my show. So, but she's really nice. I definitely want to get the rest of these 3 Jokers figures, including the 2 Jokers and the 2 dead Jokers and Batman. I really like that Batman figure, so I've wanted to get that for a while. I've just been kind of dragging my feet on these because, like, I just don't want to commit to another style or another scale. But these McFarlane figures are too good for me to ignore any longer. Like it's just gotten to the point where like you make such a nice figure of my favorite superheroine, and yeah, I'm just gonna have to go ahead and buy that. Like I'm just gonna have to go ahead and commit to these figures. And they've got these Dark Knight Returns figures out that look really cool, so I'm gonna have to get these. So I just finally just gonna have to just go with these McFarlane figures. So. But I'm probably still going to cherry pick them and just get the ones I really like. So I'll probably get the whole 3 Jokers set. And I'll probably get the whole Dark Knight Returns set. But, you know, after that, it's just going to be like, well, I like this figure, so I'll get this figure. I like this figure, so I'll get this figure. Oh, they put out another set of figures that I really like. I guess I'll get all that set. But I'm not going to run myself ragged trying to get every single McFarlane DC figure. Especially because, like, since I slept on this line for a while, there's a lot of really cool figures that I would have missed out on. So it's like, I'm never going to have the whole line at this point. So let's go ahead and put her accessories in her hands, because we haven't done that yet. And she holds that batarang really well. I really like how that is. And she doesn't have any extra hands, but her hands are made to hold weapons, and they do have trigger fingers. So that's good. Apparently, DC is not allowing McFarlane to give his figures any weapons as far as guns go, which is weird because DC figures have come with guns like as long as I can remember, at least since the 90s. But he's making separate accessory packs so you can get as many armaments as you want for your DC figures. You can have Batman holding a gun if you want. Do that 1939 Batman. But yeah, she holds the grappling hook gun really well. Grappling hook. But yeah, like she holds it really well, even though I feel like it's just slightly oversized for this figure. Like it's as long as her forearm. That is not gonna fit in her utility belt. I don't know if maybe this is one that they made for Batman and they just repackaged it with Batgirl and didn't bother to make her one that was like more like naturally scaled for her. But that almost looks like she's holding a rifle or something. But it's still a really cool accessory. I like it. I'm kind of used to Batman accessories being kind of oversized because it's kind of what they do with Batman figures for whatever reason. They usually have accessories that are a little too big for them. So that's fine. And she holds it really well. And like I said, she holds the batarang like really well. That fit in her hand almost perfectly. Like you can see how like the scallops at the top of the wings, like her thumb just kind of like wraps around that, and then like the other, you know, scallops just fit perfectly in between her fingers. They did a great job with that. So she looks really awesome. Like I said, this head sculpt is really good, and it looks a lot more like the Jason Fabok artwork that I gave it credit for when I was looking at just the pictures of the figure. And I was just kind of like, well, it looks like, it doesn't really look like his artwork, but it looks like Batgirl, so that's fine. But once I got it in hand, yeah, that's Jason Fabok's Batgirl, all right. So if I was him, I would be really psyched that there was such a great action figure on the shelves of, you know, major stores right now that look just like my version of Batgirl. So, and then we can stick the stand on there. It's a pretty simple stand, just a little disc with one peg on it, but it'll be enough to keep her balanced on your shelf. So, yeah, I'll set her on the laptop. She's fine. So yeah, 3 Jokers Batgirl. Definitely recommend. Great figure of a great character. If you're a fan of Batgirl specifically, or you collect Batman figures in general, this is a must-have. it was enough to get me to finally pull the trigger on, well, I'm going to buy some of these Mcfarlane figures, other than the one blue and gray Batman figure that I've had up there on my shelf for years. That was a great figure, but not great enough that I'm like, I want to collect a whole nother scale now. Whereas these, at least I'm going to get all the figures in this set, and I'm probably going to get that Dark Knight Returns set, because that was really cool. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure. We can talk about Batgirl in general, because I just like Batgirl. So anyway, that's pretty much it this time. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.